Speedography, Volume 4, Exercise 14. Get ready, start. Sir, a dispute has been going on for the last 2 years on who should collect the tax directly for a turnover of rupees 1 crore or below. The states have so far been doing it, but now with GST, that right of the state government, I think, does not exist any further. So, this is a matter of serious concern which is going to affect the interests of the states. Therefore, looking into all these considerations, I would say that firstly, Parliament cannot be ignored and bypassed. The Council of States has a responsibility. Secondly, the auditing will be done by corporation and AG. Thirdly, the rate structure should be four-tier and the entire question of protection for traditional produce must be ensured. In that sense, all the other issues that have to be dealt with can be worked out the moment the proposals of the GST Council also come for our consideration and our approval. Sir, I am urging this thing in the urge to go towards one nation of everything, one nation, one election, one nation, one tax, one nation, etc., etc. Let us not forget that the essence of our constitution is our federal structure. It is one of the essences. So keep that in mind. Keeping that in mind, we have moved certain amendments. When the time for amendments comes, then of course I will take them up. But we want the House of seriously consider the amendments that we have moved and understand the merits of the points that are being made here. Sir, I was a member of the select committee which scrutinized the entire legislation. I did raise many issues during the work of the select committee. In fact, I had given a dissent note and it forms part of the report. I reiterate those points once again when the parliament is finally considering the GST bills. Sir, there are two parts of the whole issue. One is the philosophy behind the GST bill. The other one is about certain practical questions. I will with practical questions. Collection of taxes is a primary exercise by the government to mobilize resources and to generate revenue for nation building and for building of economy. Sir, when we move toward GST regime, we should keep in mind and that is a country where we have tremendous unique economic development and unequal regional development. How are we going to create a pan-Indian economic zone, a single market in such a situation? That should be kept in mind. I don't think any political party or the government is clear about the consequences. In fact, I said it and I repeat it. We are entering into a new terrain. The consequences are to be understood and are to be known, so that I stress on point which has been stressed by my colleagues also. When the government talks about cooperative federalism, I think it includes fiscal federalism and financial federalism. How is the government going to ensure fiscal federalism? There are certain issues in the GST Council. The central has more weightage. It is one third. This question was discussed in the select committee. We argued, but finally the government stuck to its position. This is going to be a real problem, a challenge. This can adversely impact the financial powers of the state governments because the states should have financial autonomy to some extent in a country like ours. There is always a demand for devolution of powers. When we say devolution of powers or decentralization of powers, it means the financial powers also. The state must have financial autonomy to an extent in a federal structure as we have today. This GST regime can adversely impact that financial autonomy of state governments. For instance, I was given a memorandum by trade unions in the context of GST bill in the parliament. The trade unions are demanding that building and other constructions workers welfare cess and bedi workers welfare cess must be protected and given exemptions. Welfare levies collected from construction and automobile workers welfare association and the Tamil Nadu Manual Workers Act must be protected. Who can ensure them? This is a demand from several trade unions. This concerns millions of workforce, millions of workforce. When we move towards GST regime, who is going to ensure all these things? That is why I am asking the central government, how are you going to assure the state governments to protect their interests? Then again, sir, what is the protection to MSME products? What is the protection to agro-based products? What is the protection to the farmers and their products? Stop. In text, words and phrases. Turnover. This is a matter. Responsibility. Products. Scrutinize. Decent note. Keep in mind. Kept in mind. Entering into federal structure, agro-based, regional development, memorandum, exemptions, mobilize, generate, scrutinized, MSME. Stop.